Okay, so this is kind of where we left off, sorry, in the last video. And we've got basically our symbol, which is kind of the icon or the image in our logo, and then we also have our logo text. We've done two separate font faces or fonts that are contrasting in style that do tend to look good together. You know, if we have a little contrast in our fonts, not only in the font size, but also in the font type, that can also help create a nice font pair. And font pairs are great for working with. It just makes the font prettier and makes the font look better. So anyway, got this pretty well centered on our artboard right now. And we are going to use the blob brush tool next. So if we go over here and hold down the paintbrush tool, we can use the blob brush tool. I'm going to add in whiskers, very small whiskers, and I can change the stroke of the blob brush up here. You know, the color can be changed up here. We're going to keep it on black. If it isn't on black, you just need to hold down and push these to black. And then let's just do a quick little boop. We'll do 3 of them because things tend to look better in groups of 3. It almost looks like it's coming out of his nose, which is not ideal, but that's okay. This is just a quick video. I'm going to make them a little thicker just because with logo design you don't want to go too thin with your lines, because sometimes your logos get sized down to really small sizes and you want all of your stuff to be showing up decently at a small size. So I'm going to just make them a little thicker. If you don't do an amazing job at that, that's fine. This doesn't look good, but for the sake of the demo, you get what I'm saying. We don't want to go too small with our details in our logo because that could cause issues. Now let's say that I don't really like how bumpy this wing is. Or maybe I don't like how bumpy this is. There's a bump here I don't like. So if we click on this with the white arrow tool and zoom in, I'm zoomed in. Click on this shape with the white arrow tool. And let's go ahead and go underneath. Let's see, which one is it underneath? The shaper tool. The shaper tool looks like a circle with a pencil. If you click and hold that down, we can go to the smooth tool. And we do have to have our shape selected that we want to smooth out. Let's get back on the smooth tool. So I had to go back here, I had to click on this again, and then I had to click back on the smooth tool. And let's just kind of smooth this out. You can just click and drag. You're going to have to feel this out a little bit. You're going to have to get a feel for this. You're just going to have to experiment. Maybe I want to smooth this edge out. I'm just going to click and drag a line. Click and drag a line. You just kind of have to work with this tool to get how it works. So let's do a shift, click, and we have both of these things selected here. Let's zoom out. These things are separate, but we can bring them together with the shape builder tool just like we did earlier. So let's just click and drag a line through. I'm going to zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. I'm using my space bar to get the hand. So I'm on the shape builder tool and click and hold and drag that. Click and hold and drag a line, and that combines those whiskers. And it's nice to have logos with nice clean shapes that you can change the images really easily, or you can change the color really easily if it's all one shape. Whereas if there were still separate whiskers, then I would have to go in 2 separate places to change the color of the cat. So yeah, that is basically kind of what I'm wanting you to do. I want you to, you know, bring these things together. I want you to use the blob brush tool to create whiskers and the shape builder tool to combine them into the main cat head, basically. So once we kind of get things looking the way we want them to look, let's say this is basically a finalized design that we're really happy with, we can do a file, save as. We're going to name our file, we're going to put it in the right spot. So we need to put documents, put this in documents. I'm going to put this in a graphic design 231 folder, new folder, Illustrator demo. These can have spaces. Folders can, folder names. And let's name it our first name, Illustrator Demo. And let's make it black and white. Let's make it logo, black and white. So Mary Illustrator Demo logo, black and white. So we want to put the BW in there in the file name so that we know that this is the black and white version of this logo. We're going to make this an AI file. The format down here needs to be on AI. That stands for Adobe Illustrator. The file extension will automatically be .ai. So let's go ahead and push save. We're putting that in the correct folder. Push OK. On that next string that pops up, just push OK. And actually, let's go ahead and do a control click on this text box with the black arrow tool. And let's go ahead and push create outlines. So this is one of the last steps that you will do when you create your logo, is to change your text to outlines. Now at first, when we create our logo, we only want to work with black. That's why we did this logo, the Catbird Cafe logo, in only black. And we want to outline our fonts at the very end once we are sure that our fonts are looking exactly how we'd like them to look. I know that I don't want to make any more changes to my text, so I can go ahead and outline it. As you can see, there's some of this text is not joined together. So let's go to the Shape Builder tool and let's just draw lines and draw. So this is all one solid shape. So now you can see that's all one solid shape now. So yeah, this is looking great. Let's do Command S to save that change, because we did just outline our fonts. As you can see, it's no longer editable, it's now vector-based. You can see the anchors. So that's fine. Command S to save that change. So now that we have our black and white logo looking the way we want it to, we need to start working with color. And this is how logo design works. We do the design first in black and white, and then save it with BW on the end of the file name. And then we do a file save as, and we will save out the CMYK or color version now. We're going to leave it at an Illustrator document. We're going to save this. Push OK. Okay, and now this will be the file that we add color to. If I want to find a good color scheme, a great place to start is online. You know, a really basic way to change colors, to select them with the selection tool. So I got the black selected. You can see the fill color here. There's a stroke color here. This would be the outline of the shape. We could add a stroke color. You can use the swatches panel. It's over here. It's the third one down. If we kind of drag this out, you can see the panel itself. It does come with some pretty good colors. This is the stroke color here too as well. I can switch over to the fill color and I can change the fill color here. So that's a basic way of changing the stroke and fill colors. You can also do it over here in the properties panel. So by clicking on the actual icons themselves. If you want to change the stroke weight, you can do it here. You know, maybe I want it thicker. Of course, don't go ahead and do this. I'm just showing you this. We're just going to leave everything black. I just wanted to show you that. We are going to add color though. I'm going to get rid of the stroke. We are going to add color. So let's go online. Let's go to Safari. Push cancel here. So let's look up like retro color scheme. So we're looking on Google Images right now. Let's go to images. Let's find something we like. Maybe I really like this color scheme, so I'm going to click on this image and I'm going to click on it again. And maybe I'm just going to do a Shift Command 4 on a Mac to get a screenshot. You can use the snip tool if you have a PC. I'm going to take a snip of this, and then I'm going to do a file. I'm back in Illustrator. I'm going to do a file place to bring in this image that I just took. It should be on my desktop. It's a screenshot. No, that's not right. File place again. Let's go back to the desktop. I need to put this on list view and date added. There we go. click and hold and drag down at the size I want it to. When I let up, it will be good. So now I have this in here and I can reference this really easily. So let's go ahead and open up the swatches panel. Let's go to the eyedropper tool over here. It's about the third one or fourth one up from the left here. If you don't have your toolbar expanded, you can go ahead and do that. But if you can't find something too, you can always look for the name up here. And it should tell you where it's at. And it'll tell you, what it looks like. If you hover over this, it'll show you where it is. So just a quick tip. Okay, let's use the eyedropper tool. And let's say I really like this green color. So here it is in the swatches. I clicked on it with my eyedropper. I can go over here in the swatches and I can actually drag it down and it'll create a swatch for me that I can reference really easily later. So let's do a new color group and name it logo, push OK, and we can see there's a little folder here in the swatches panel. Let's go ahead and drag that green one so that it's in line with this new folder that we created, logo color folder that we created. Actually, I think the name is just logo. And then let's go ahead and add a couple more colors to that folder. And I'm just going to create kind of my own color scheme quickly. Just get 4 or 5 of the colors off of this image. And I will provide this in Brightspace for you to sample colors from. You don't have to do exactly the same colors, but at least get 1, 2, 3, 4 different colors. I have 5, but at least get around 4 sampled from this image. So let's click on the cat. Let's make this an image, a color from. Oops. Let's click on the cat. Let's click on. Let's use the white arrow tool and let's click on the C and the A. Let's zoom in. The C and the A and the T. And let's go ahead and click on the next color. And let's go ahead and push Shift on our keyboard to get multiple shapes. Clicking with the white arrow tool. It has to be the white arrow tool, otherwise it's not going to work. And let's click the next color that we sampled. And let's click on the next color that we sampled. Okay, so, let's say that that's the color scheme that we're wanting to go with. So if we can actually control click on this and actually let's not control click on that. So let's say this is the color version of our logo. So we can Command S this. This file is already saved as a color file. Let's go File, Open, and let's open up the black and white one that we had earlier. So this is the black and white, and this is the color. Okay. We have the AI file saved for both of these, but we also need JPEGs. So if we do File, Export on the color one here, let's go into the Illustrator demo, and let's save this out as a JPEG file. Make sure you check this Use Artboards checkbox, please, because then it'll export only what's on your artboard and not things that are outside of it. Let's change this to CMYK. We want this at maximum, and we want the resolution to be at 300. Everything else should look like this. Push OK. So now we have the JPEG of the color, and if we do File, Export, Export As, we're going to do the same process with the black and white version of this logo. Use Artboards needs to be checked. Export that out. We want this in CMYK. Actually, let's put this in grayscale, and we want the high resolution. We want this on maximum. Push OK. So if I go into my Illustrator demo, you can see that folder. Inside I have the AI, the JPEG, AI, JPEG of both the CMYK and black and white versions. This is what I'm wanting for a grade. I want you to compress this or zip it up. So control click on a Mac and push compress. If you're on a PC, there's a different process. You might have to look that up. I do have a description of it also in Brightspace for you, but this is what I'm wanting in Brightspace for a grade for the Illustrator demo.